All right, FOJ 25. What's going on, my man?
25. 25, quarter century, quarter whatever.
Half a year, roughly. Yeah. I think we missed a couple of weeks with just life and schedules getting in the way. But 25 weeks of this.
That's pretty awesome. I think it's pretty awesome.
And we have literally singles of listeners.
Yes. As much as I try and promote, I don't know if you try and promote, but hey, we're gaining them one by one. And as soon as more people believe in what we talk and, believe in what we like to talk about and listen to the fact that we're always right, then they'll learn.
Yeah. I mean, winning the hearts and minds of America, one listener at a time. We're on pace. We're on pace to change the nation, change the world.
Yes. In a world that probably needs some changing. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I digress.
All right. We got to, before we hit record, it's like, I don't know, what do you got today? And you're like, well, I don't have much. I'm like, oh, well, here's the things. All right, we got our show. Here, let's do it. So I want to start off with baseball, which is a rarity for me because I could give two shits about baseball. Oh my
God. Sound the alarm, sound the crowd noise, sound whatever you want. But there you go, baby.
It's the baseball beat. I did not watch a single game. I don't know anything what happened. I have no idea what the Cubs. Oh no, I think I did see. No, I don't know what the Cubs did. I know that I texted you something that my wife sent me about the Sox already being eliminated from playoff contention, which I thought was hilarious. And you texted me back saying they were up 3-0. So first, did they win that game?
They won that game. Yes.
Okay.
So they were 1-0.
So the other thing that I saw was that's the first time the Sox have been over 500 in I don't know how many weeks or months or years.
It was at a certain point in 2023. Fast forward 3 days later, they are now 1-2, back below 500. So we're back to normal.
Everything's right with the world.
Everything's right with the world. And so I've determined, before we get into some specifics on some stuff that you and I talked about off air, I've determined that I'm going to try my best to take financial advantage of the White Sox and how bad they are.
Oh, so please don't tell me you're going to do sports betting and bet against the White Sox.
Yes, I am. You're
going to play the odds.
Now, very small. Okay.
Oh, bet within your means.
Yeah, $5 a game. That's it.
Okay.
$5 a game.
All right.
And I have committed to this.
Okay. So you're going to bet every game against the Sox.
Yes, because I know at the end of it all, I'm going to come out ahead.
Yeah, but aren't there odds? You can't just straight up call a loser, right?
I'm confident enough that in the odds of them winning, they're going to lose more, they're going to lose more times that will cover any difference in them winning, if that makes sense.
So what do you have to put down? So let's say you put $5 down in a game, you have them to lose. What do you win off of that bet?
Today, I put $5 down to lose, and it paid out $3.97.
So you made $3 on the loss.
Almost $4.
Almost $4. Yeah. Sorry.
So I made 80%.
Okay.
Now, those odds are going to change based on who they play. Obviously, if they're playing like the Dodgers or the Yankees, obviously those odds are going to be more likely that they will lose. So it won't pay out near as much. So I will weigh that. My theory, though, is I would never bet the Sox to win, to put it that way.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how this pays off for him.
Let's see how it does. Now, you bring up a good thought. If they're playing the Yankees and the payout would be like $1.50.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was wondering, because
that wouldn't be worth it. That wouldn't be worth
it. I mean, the risk of the reward is not there. But I guess if you're playing the odds, right, of how many games are going to win versus lose, right? Let's say, they win 60. No, 30, 20. I don't know how many games they win.
Last year they won 40. So they won 40 and won 22 or whatever it was.
So if you're wrong 40 times, you're going to be out $200.
Right.
And if you're right, you might be up 200, maybe 300, maybe 400, depending on the odds of the game.
Exactly.
So really, you're gonna lose about $200. So you need to make up that 200 off those wins that you're going to bet against.
Correct. It's a theory I'm testing out. So I'm going to see how this goes for season. Now, on the other side of this, so far I am 2 for 3 in Sox
how much
wins.
have you won?
I'm
what are you up so far? You've put in $15.
$2. I'm plus $2.
Okay. You're plus $2 after because they won the one game, which you bet against.
Right. So I lost the 5.
Okay.
But then in the wins, I've won back the 10 I had plus another. The math works out to be plus 2.
So you're plus 2.
You're making me
so far.
Yeah, you're making me think on a Sunday night. So
yeah, okay. Well, I think this is going to be a new segment. Is how much money did Jay win or lose in his extremely revolutionary passive income strategy? Because people tune into FOJ Show for financial advice, and you're here to give it to them.
Well, let me preface that by saying I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't guarantee anybody's results. But
if you're tuning in FOJ Show, then for any sort of real advice on anything important, you got problems, man.
Correct. Unless it's Bears advice or Bears draft,
which we are never wrong about.
No, never. So I'm going to offset this by also betting the Dodgers to win.
Interesting.
Now,
okay.
So far, I'm 5-0. Dodgers are 5-0. They beat the Cubs twice in Japan, and they just swept the Tigers.
Okay.
So 5-0.
So you've put in $25. $25. You did the same thing, $5. So you've put in 25, and what are you up minus that $25?
I'd have to go back and look, but it's probably about 15.
Okay. So you're up about 17 total between Dodgers and Sox.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm 7 for 8 between the two teams.
Okay. And you didn't do anything other than just bet a straight line of
of winning versus losing. I didn't bet anybody to cover. I didn't bet anybody to score a certain amount of runs. It was just who wins versus who loses. That's it.
And how much time did it take for you to place those bets?
All of about 5 seconds.
Okay. So your investment of time on this is really minimal as well.
Exactly. You go into the FanDuel app, hit 2 buttons, place bet, done.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I see no faults with this strategy, and I don't think anything can go wrong. So I'm in favor of it.
Now, the one way to increase the chance, maybe increase the winnings a little bit, is to parlay the bets, as in combine them.
Parlays are sucker bets.
They are. That's why, because you have to have both things happen, obviously, for you to win. Now, the odds are very high that both of these things are going to happen. But obviously the odds decrease that they both happen in the same day. So, now,
I would stick with just straight wins and losses.
That's what
Each team, individual bets, don't parlay, don't let things ride, blah, blah, blah. Every game is its own individual.
Right.
And with this strategy, I believe you will be a millionaire in the year 2080.
2080. Cool.
Yep.
Well, in 2080, I will be 106 years old. So that matches up how it would be in real life. So perfect.
And I say that millionaire also includes all other pieces of money that you have accumulated to date.
Yes.
Salary, 401k, social security benefits, if they're still around, all that stuff. And you've taken all of your winnings and you have just put it into a high yield, like a savings
high yield index fund or whatever. Yeah. So,
So you too can be a millionaire by the time you're over 100 with this one little trick.
We'll see. But so far, like I said, I'm 7 for 8. Dodgers are awfully good. White Sox, granted, they were playing the Angels, and the Angels are arguably one of the worst teams in the American League outside of the White Sox. So, but the games were in Chicago, and they just couldn't get anything going offensively, but whatever.
Okay. Well, the betting will make it interesting.
Yes.
As I mentioned, I know nothing about what happened in baseball. So you've already informed me that the Cubs lost a couple games in Japan. And so that's good. I mean, not good, but okay. But I did see a headline that made me scratch my head. And I immediately said, I got to save this and I got to ask Jay on Sunday. I saw a headline about the Yankees having a different bat with like different wood proportions, and they went out and hit a shit ton of home runs. And I'm wondering, what am I missing? Because I did not read the article because I didn't care that much. But I thought it was interesting to say how I thought bats were standardized.
Apparently, there is a standard of bat. So apparently what the Yankees did was, if you look at a standard baseball bat, it obviously, as you go from the handle to the other end, like the end of the barrel, the bat tends to get a wider. Okay, does that make sense? Well, what the Yankees did was they put that wider part of the bat down more, not towards the handle so much, but more towards the middle of the barrel, if that makes sense. Okay.
Where most of the contact would potentially be.
Correct. And what they're calling it is, now they're calling them torpedo bats because it's kind of shaped like a torpedo.
Okay.
Okay. To a certain extent. Now, it's the first time I've ever heard of anything like this. Bats have, changed in size over the years. They tend to get a little bit smaller because obviously the lighter they are, the faster you can get them around. And, power generally comes from bat speed. How quickly can you get the bat around? Okay. But this is different because now the pitch has a better chance of hitting the thick part of the bat. So if you hit the thick part of the bat, still swinging it as fast as you can, there's more of a chance for power. So what happened? Yankees yesterday hit 9 home runs in a game, which doesn't happen every day.
Including, it should. I want baseball to be just full of roided out sluggers.
Yes. So the first 3 hitters, and ironically, it was off of a pitcher for the Brewers who pitched for the Yankees last year. In fact, it was the pitcher who gave up the grand slam in the World Series that kind of set the Dodgers off in game 1 and all that stuff. Nestor Cortez is his name. Mm-hmm. But the first 3 hitters, who was it? Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger, and Aaron Judge all hit first inning home runs off of Cortez. Yankees went on to win, I think it was 20-6 or 20-7. Judge hit 3 home runs in the game. And then today they hit 4 more home runs, including Aaron Judge hitting another one. So he now has 4. I think they have another guy who has 3, and they hit 15 home runs in the 3-game series, which I think ties a major league record.
So and this is within the rules as they stand right now.
Yes, because
there's no. I guess I know the baseball has like really just like. Not like very specific rules. It has to be a piece of wood, right? It has to be a single piece of wood, and it's kind of like it.
I think there's a max.
There's like probably like a max size and
or a max
stuff like
circumference that you can
but
have.
It doesn't state a specific shape.
But it doesn't state where that max circumference has to be, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So this is pretty revolutionary. Obviously, there are people out there that are now going to say the Yankees are cheating, Well,
but there's nothing stopping other teams from doing this.
Exactly. And I have a feeling you will probably see some more and more teams do this as the season moves on if the Yankees continue to have success. Now, we have a sample size of 3 games.
Yeah.
And the Brewers generally are a pretty good team, but a Yankees lineup is almost as loaded, in my opinion, as the Dodgers is. So let's not discount how good their team is and not just blame it on the bats. But this is going to be interesting to follow.
Is this the new tush push?
yeah. Is it the tush push of baseball? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see where this takes them, and see if they make the playoffs and people start bitching, and do they have to make a new bat rule? I mean, the season started. I don't see how you could make a rule in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I don't think you could either. Now, if I was the Yankees, whoever came up with this idea, I would have patented this, or I would be on the journey to patent it so that no one can copy it for a couple reasons. One, let's say it becomes a competitive advantage. And I'm sure this won't happen because MLB will force the Yankees to allow other players to use that right for the MLB. But the financial repercussions are: what if this is a significantly better design now, and you're the only one who can sell it? Now you've just cornered the market on the bat the pros use.
Yeah, if you're for instance Louisville Slugger,
right,
who makes bats. I know there are other companies that are out there that make wooden bats for the major leagues, but Louisville Slugger is the one that everybody knows. If Louisville Slugger was the one that came up with this, could they patent it?
Right.
They most likely, I would say yes, and that would force a majority of all the hitters.
You have a superior product,
right?
And you've got a monopoly on it.
Correct.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
It's first thing I've ever heard. I know you're not into baseball, but it's kind of cool that baseball's been around for 150 years, yet you still see new stuff that people come up with to try and make the game either better or try to gain an advantage, or just something that you've never seen before.
There's always room to innovate. And
yeah, there really is.
This is how rules get made and broken and all that stuff. And it sounds like they're well within the rules. So, hey, good on whoever it was that thought about this. This is a physics, problem as much as anything.
Yeah.
And some physics nerd out there, hey, kudos to them, right? Nerds rule the world. Figured this out.
Well, yeah. Obviously, baseball went through its drug problem, its performance enhancing drugs issue, its HGH, its all that stuff. And then, baseball found a way to combat that with testing and things like that. I don't know, unless you make a flat out rule change, I don't know how you contest this. I don't know how you go against it unless you make a distinct rule change that says the bats have to be this diameter or this circumference or whatever. They can be as long as they want. They can be as heavy as they want, but you cannot make them wider. And the wide part has to be at the end of the bat.
So maybe this opens up some experimentation where you see a whole bunch of funny looking bats coming out.
Could be.
Maybe they're specialized bats based on what you're trying to do. Maybe you're not trying to hit a home run. You want to do a bunt or a hit and run or something, right? Where the shape of the bat, almost like a golf club, affects the trajectory of the ball.
Yeah. Or if you, make a flat side of the bat, that kind of thing.
Like a cricket
obviously,
bat. I think it has to be rounded, so maybe that isn't allowed, but
probably
define rounded, right? Yeah. I'm sure some lawyer out there you'll be like, all right, well, this is still rounded. The corners are rounded.
Well, it'll be interesting because baseball is already up against issue between the players and the owners with their collective bargaining agreement that I think expires at the end of next year. So this could come into that late. They already, bitch about salary caps and revenue sharing and salary floors and all that stuff. And now you're talking about something that gives teams advantages on the field itself. So I think baseball's in for some issues in about a year.
So I just Googled this, and apparently it is an MIT physicist who is on the payroll for the Yankees who came up with this.
Love it. I love
That's awesome.
I love it. Like you said, the baseball nerds, man. That's cool.
That's pretty sweet.
So far, it's paying off. We should have known. We should have known that something like this would happen because the Yankees had for the first time ever. Again, baseball's been around in 50 years. The first time ever that a game was led off with a home run on opening day by a catcher happened this year for the New York Yankees when Austin Wells went deep in the first inning against the Brewers on opening day. First time ever.
And then back to back and back, right? It was 3 in a row.
2 days later, they switched leadoff hitters and went Goldschmidt, Bellinger, and Judge. And ironically, after Judge hit his 3 batters later, Austin Wells came up, I think, in the 6th spot and hit the 4th home run of the inning. So
when
Austin
did this
Wells,
get noticed?
it didn't seem to matter.
Like, was it noticed right away? Like, oh, that's a different looking bat, or did it take something during the game, or was it after the game? Like, what's the timeline of people figuring out?
I don't know.
That's a different bat.
I first heard about it on Saturday when after this happened. Because it was a day game on Saturday when all these home runs were hit. And then I saw the story Saturday night. I don't know if it went public before that, but that was when I first saw it. It was all over Twitter. It was all over, the Facebook baseball groups that I am in. We're all talking about it, and it's not fair and yada, yada. And it's like, well, it's not fair because you didn't think of it first. That's why.
Right.
So.
Interesting. Oh, I think it's a cool story. It's different, unique, and doesn't happen very often. That I don't know how old the sport is, 100 years old, can find these unique innovations. Like, it's different. It's not a rule change. It's, oh shit, they changed the shape of the piece of wood that they've been swinging for 100 years.
Yeah, it's why didn't we think of this?
Right. Yeah. That's math and that's AI and that's a whole bunch of things like swing simulations and all kinds of stuff going into it. So stay in school, kids.
Yeah, combine that with all the all the numbers, all the stats, all the Moneyball type stuff, and
which I know I'm not a baseball fan, and obviously that's the thing, but I love the movie Moneyball. I think it's fantastic, and I will watch it anytime that's on TV if I'm flipping channels.
It's a great movie. Brad Pitt was awesome in it. Jonah Hill was really good.
He was great. Yep.
All the characters were casted extremely well, and really good movie. Not just for baseball fans, but a really good quality movie.
Yeah. Anything else happened in MLB, or do you want to shift gears?
Well, a couple other things that happened on opening day, which I found interesting. So the Giants opened the season with a different left fielder for the 19th straight season. So they've had a different guy playing left field on opening day for 19 years in a row. That's unheard of to me.
Hey, at least they're consistent.
Yeah. And I know the Sox, I'll compare this to the Sox. They've had issues with solving right field. They've had issues with solving second base, but 19 years, you can't find a guy who can play the position 2 years in a row. I think that's crazy. And mind you, 3 of those years, the Giants won the World Series. So they won the World Series.
They're spending the money elsewhere, right? They just haven't prioritized that position.
Right. So I guess left field is not a position of need for them. It's more of a position of want or a position of whoever.
So where are they spending their money?
The Giants, mostly pitching that I've seen. And they'll sign guys, to play positions and stuff. I know they invested big in their third baseman. They have a new shortstop this year. But yeah, they generally put most of their money into the pitching. But I just thought it was interesting that, 19 years in a row, they've been a different guy. And then the other bit of trivia, which I thought was interesting. So this guy who plays for the Orioles, Tyler O'Neill, and he's not a household name. He's not a all-star or anything like that. But for the 6th year in a row, he hit a home run on opening day. 6 years in a row that he has done this.
That's a nice little streak.
Yeah. Now, in doing this, he's played for 3 different teams. So he's played for the Orioles. I know he played for the Red Sox, and I don't know the third team. But I want to say it's the Reds, but I'm not 100% on that. But to hit a home run on opening day 6 years in a row, that's pretty amazing if you think about it. So,
I mean, hitting one home run is amazing to me, but
yeah, totally random.
6 in a row.
Yeah, totally random. And, just a bit of, did you know type stuff. So, but I thought that was pretty cool. So
now if he's hitting a home run and is he a leadoff hitter?
No.
Okay.
No,
so he's not like okay. So is he a power hitter?
He's average. Nothing. Okay. I mean, he's not, like I said, he's not going to hit
who is
30
this guy?
home runs
Give me what's his scouting report from is he a singles guy? Is he a hitter guy? A power guy?
I'll look him up while we're
but if he's
sitting here chatting.
So he's hit a home run in the first game of the season for 6 in a row.
6 years in a row. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
So he's 29 and it's the only home run he's hit this year. Granted, most teams have only played 3, but it's been in the major leagues for, so he played for Baltimore, Boston, like I said, and the Cardinals. So he played for the Cardinals for 6 years. This is his 9th season. Most home runs he's ever hit in one season is 34. and he hit 31 last year. But the other seasons, he's hit 9, 5, 7, 9, and 1.
That's a pretty big jump to go from that to 30.
Well, it seems like he gets hurt a lot because once the season he hit 34 home runs, he played 138 games. The season he hit 31 home runs, he played 113 games. But the other 5 full years that he's played under 96 games or less. So spent some time on the disabled.
It's one of those random things. Like, it's like, all right,
yeah.
You know,
average
not
hitter,
the guy you would expect.
No, average hitter, never driven in 100 runs, career batting average of 247. You know, just kind of your average Joe who knows how to hit home runs. So,
okay then.
Yeah, there are some really random trivia stats in baseball, which if you think about it, are just wild. I'll give you 2 quick ones because some of the people that listen to this are baseball fans. So there's a guy by the name of Chris Davis, played for the Oakland Athletics, and 4 different years in a row, he hit 247. 4 seasons in a row.
He hit 247.
He had a batting average of 247.
Exactly
247.
Wow. Consistency.
This is a guy who, in 3 of those years, had over 600 at-bats. And the other one, he had 440. And all 4 of those seasons, he landed on 247. Pretty crazy.
Okay.
The other one I'm going to give you is, and this is from way back when, probably, when did this guy play? 1941 to 1963. His name is Stan Musial. Mm-hmm. Played, I believe, his entire career for the Cardinals. Okay. Hall of Fame player. Just an amazing career. Played, I'm trying to pull up his stats right now, and for some reason it's not working. So, because I typed in Stam. His name is Stan, Jason. Come on.
You blew it.
I know. So, okay, 1941, 1963. So he played in 22 seasons. Had 3,630 career hits. Cut that number in half is what? 1815, am I right?
Something like that.
Okay. Well, of those 3,630 hits, 1,815 of them were hit at home and 1,815 of them were hit on the road.
All right. So he's a true 50-50.
Incredible. So there's 2 random baseball trivia nuggets for you.
I got an NFL one for you that I think is
love it. I love this shit. So yes, bring it.
So everybody's favorite player, Tom Brady. He never in his entire career took a single snap in a football game where his team was mathematically eliminated from playoffs. Every single snap over his entire career, he was always in the hunt.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like him or not, I mean, that's pretty fucking amazing.
I'll admit, I've regarded him. Now, obviously, he's played on some really great teams. And a lot of people say he's the ultimate game manager, all that stuff. The guy is the ultimate winner.
He's a winner, man. I mean, game manager? Sure. Every quarterback is a game manager, but he's also tossing bombs down the field to Randy Moss.
Yes.
So,
and ironically, the one year they had Randy Moss, they did not win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
As it has been well documented by one Randy Moss. But anyway, that's wild. That's a good one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing about Tom Brady, he is the second youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And he's also the oldest quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
He's also number 2 in receiving yards for players over the age of 40.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Number 1, Jerry Rice. Number 2, Tom Brady with 90. No, he's got, let's see. Let me look up the stat here. Well, why doesn't this say it? 6 yards. He's got 6 yards receiving, beating out your former Chicago Bear Mercedes Lewis with 2 receiving yards after the age of 40. You got Jerry Rice with 2,169 yards after 40 or older. And then second place, Tom Brady was 6.
So there's only 3 guys in the history of the league with receiving yards after the age of 40.
According to this website, StatMuse, that I looked it up on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Rice, Brady, and Mercedes Lewis. One of those is not like the others.
If you're Mercedes Lewis, you got to feel pretty good.
Right. Yeah. He's in Hall of Fame company. That's for sure.
Yes. There's not many people can say I'm in a category that only myself, Jerry Rice, and Tom Brady exist.
Yeah. Mercedes, 1 catch, 2 yards in the 17 games that he's played since he's turned 40. He's only been targeted 2 times in those 17 games. He is the
ultimate blocking tight end.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, needless to say, I don't think he's coming back to the Bears this year.
That's fine. I'm really heartbroken about that. What do you think about Keenan Allen? Because he didn't end up in with the not the Chargers, Rams.
Yeah.
They signed Devontae Adams, so that kind of puts him out there. He could still end up going to the Chargers, but the Chargers are balking at paying a receiver because they just sent somebody. Was it Stephon Diggs or no? Yeah. Somebody? Yeah, to they wouldn't pay him his money, and Stephon is arguably better stats, for his career where Keenan is. I was looking at the stats the other day. I was talking to my wife about it, and I was like, "Is Keenan Allen a Hall of Fame player?" And at first, I was like, "Yeah, I think he is." And then I looked at his stats. He's on the bubble.
I think he's one of those guys who gets there eventually, after a few rounds. I mean, there's obviously other receivers I think that go in ahead of him,
mm-hmm.
And that are, even that are playing right now, but I think there are a couple other receivers that go in ahead of him that have since retired. He's up over 10,000 yards receiving. So
he's got 11,000.
Okay. I'm assuming he's probably asking for a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. He's got 1 year, 2 years left.
Yeah, at a guy his age I don't think it's worth that much.
No, I don't either. But let's say things dry up, I would take him back on the Bears. It's just a money issue. Sure. It's not anything else other than money.
For sure. But I don't think the Bears now, do they have room for him?
I think he can make room.
They signed that Zacchaeus from Washington.
He immediately probably bumped down to 4.
To wide receiver 4. And they still have
DJ Moore. You got a Dunze.
Rome. And they have Tyler Scott, who hasn't done anything. Right. I know.
And so let's say you go into it with the same 3 receivers that you had, your top 3 this year. You get Cole Kmet more involved. You got a better offensive line. Shit. If the money is right, I've always thought that I would take him back on the team for sure. But not at the sacrificing of offensive linemen. And I don't think that's a problem anymore.
No, they still have. I think they still have cap room to do it if they wanted to. If you were to go to him and be like, "Look, man, we'll give you 2 years, $8.5, $9 million a year." Yeah, I would seriously look at that. I don't think Allen is going to take that right off the bat. He's probably not going to sign until after the draft. Would be my guess, depending on who drafts what and what receivers go where. And I don't really know. The stock level of receivers in the draft is. I don't think it's that wide receiver heavy, if you will, but there's going to be guys obviously. And, the
Bears have $9 million in effective cap space left for this year.
Okay.
That's not a lot, but
no, it's not,
depending on how contracts get structured and, et cetera.
Yeah. Cause they got to sign draft picks with that.
Yep.
So
it would surprise me if they can make any moves until after the draft to get their key draft picks.
Yeah, they're probably done as far as free agents go, unless they decide to make a roster move as far as cutting somebody after the fact or things like that. So
there are 2 teams that are over the cap right now in the NFL.
Really?
The Giants are $4.5 million over the cap, and the Buccaneers are, let's call it $2.5 million over the cap.
How does the Giants GM still have a job, man?
I mean, they went out and signed Jameis. Then they went out and signed Russell.
I know.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing up there.
They lost Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they have? What is it? Is it Neighbors they have?
Malik Neighbors. Yeah. Right receiver. Yeah.
Okay. Who else besides him do they have? Do they have some big name lineman we don't know about, or some big defensive dude that we don't know about? I mean, how are the hell are they over the cap? It's not like they gave Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson a ton of money.
Well, they're paying Brian Burns.
Pass rusher. Okay.
$22 million in base salary, and he's got a cap number of almost $30 million.
Okay. Top pass rusher. Yes. Mm-hmm. I knew that.
But yeah, I don't know what the heck they're doing up there. It makes no sense. But
Neighbors is on a rookie deal, so it's not like he's breaking the bank for them.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Russell Wilson's on this list. He's making $10.5 million is his cap number. He's on a let's see, $8 million deal, I guess, 2 years, $8 million, something like that.
Okay,
but still,
their team's out there paying their QB almost $60 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously it can be managed. Wow. I think the dude's name is Joe Sheen. Am I right on that? The GM, I think.
Joe Blow. It doesn't matter. Guys, I don't know what the heck they're doing up there.
He's going to be Joe fired if things don't change quickly. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no kidding.
God. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing. Malik is $6.6 million against the cap for them.
Okay, so that's nothing. Right. I mean, that's really nothing.
So their money is tied up in 3 players with over $20 million. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Andrew Thomas.
Okay, I have no idea who Dexter Lawrence is, and I have no idea who Andrew Thomas is.
Dexter Lawrence is an interior defensive lineman, and Andrew Thomas is a left tackle.
Okay. Well, at least I guess if you're going to spend that kind of money, those are 3 spots, because I know Burns is I think he's an edge. So yeah, those are 3 positions you're going to pour money into, but you should still have more to put money towards. I would think.
I mean, they're going to be making some cuts. Know that much.
Yeah. Or they're going to win what? Because what draft pick do they have? It's like there were 3 or something like that.
They're top.
They're up there.
I don't remember what it was, but yeah, like top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Because they should probably still draft a QB if they can.
Well, yeah. Like I don't. It's just stupid.
I don't know why they signed both of them. Why would they sign both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston?
I don't get it. So they draft they're in the 4th position right now.
Okay, because Tennessee's 1.
No, Patriots are. Wait, is this right? Yeah, Patriots are number 1.
I thought Tennessee was 1.
Oh, wait, no, this is an old. Sorry, this is an old.
Okay.
Old article. Yeah, no. Yeah, Tennessee 1. Oh, the Giants are 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Why would Google serve me up an old draft order? Stupid Google. Get your shit together, Google.
I would think Tennessee's going to draft that Cam Ward most likely because they're done with Will Levis. They have to be because that guy sucks. And then what is it? I'm sorry. Who'd you say was 2?
2 was the Browns.
The Browns. Okay. Well, they still have Watson. I don't know if he's their answer or whatever. But
why?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the dude has 2 Achilles injuries?
Yeah, I know.
He's done, right? I mean, I think he's not going to play another snap for that team.
No, probably not. So they might draft somebody. And if the Giants are 3, the problem is the draft isn't QB heavy. There's Cam Ward, and then there's what's his name, Shador Sanders, and then there's anybody else who's probably not going to be drafted any higher than the 3rd round.
Yeah, and Shador keeps dropping, and it seems like every week his thing keeps going down.
Exactly. So if you're the Giants, I think maybe you explore a trade down if you're hell bent on grabbing a QB.
This CBS mock draft has Shador Sanders going all the way to pick 26 to the LA Rams.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur Sanders in Los Angeles. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess, there's only so much marketing can do for you. You still actually have to play football to get drafted.
That's true. Well, plus he's not going to have his dad around. So, his dad's going to be a little busy coaching college football in Colorado still. So,
and doing his daytime talk show or where the heck he's
whatever the hell.
Pluto,
yeah, whatever the hell. The thing is, yeah, whatever he does. So, okay. So now here, since we're here, the big talks is becoming around Chicago is, okay, what do the Bears do with this pick? Do they stick to their guns and draft a lineman? Or do they draft a running back? You and I have talked about this. We don't like the idea of drafting a running back. Or do they draft a defensive tackle who might be there? Mason Graham from Michigan. Or do they draft Tyler Warren, a dynamic tight end out of Penn State? There could be a couple of left tackle options out there for them.
I'd like to see them really shore up the kicking position and just draft a kicker.
Draft a kicker?
Yeah, with the 10th overall pick and just lock that position down. Now, give me a lineman. I think at this point they need to really solidify either offensive or defensive line. I'll take either.
That's
one.
what I think. That's what I think.
But I think you kind of have to go offensive line only because you've invested a lot of money into keeping Caleb Williams upright, and you can never have too much depth.
I think best case scenario, you upgrade at left tackle, make Braxton Jones your depth swing guy because he is coming off a pretty significant injury, from what I understand. Let him be your, first up if somebody gets hurt. But if they're able to do that, that means they turn over their entire starting offensive line in 3 years. That's pretty crazy.
It is, and way ahead of schedule from what I thought they would have to do, because I didn't think they would. First of all, and it's kind of a perfect storm, right? They have to have the money to do it, and then the players have to be available to do it, and then you have to have the organizational, intestinal fortitude to go out and do it. Right?
Well, I mean, we figured the draft picks would happen. We figured the free agent signing at center would happen. I don't think what any of us saw was the 2 back-to-back days where they traded for potentially all pro caliber guards.
Yeah.
And didn't have to give up a lot to do it.
Yeah. So I'll take it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm not complaining. Like I said, Chicago Bears, NFL offseason champs. So, you heard it here first.
Yes. Yes, I agree. But as we know, winning on paper doesn't mean shit.
Mm-hmm. So, that's not the only thing that Chicago is talking about this week, because it's been, Josh Giddey bonanza for the last couple of days. I haven't watched barely any NBA at all this year, and being out of market, it's very difficult for me to see any Bulls games. But I saw the game winner over the Lakers from half court. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, And that was all I saw, was just the game winner. And then I was talking to my wife. He's like, oh no, didn't you see like the previous 2 minutes? It was making all the viral clips and stuff like that. I was like, no. She said to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, what a comeback for the ages.
Yeah, they were down. What was it? They were down 5 points with about 6 seconds left or something like that. And they hit a shot. Who was it? Patrick Williams hit a 3. And then LeBron went to take the ball out. He threw it away, threw it right to
Giddey.
I think it was to Giddey, who kicked it out to Kobe White, who made another 3. They called timeout. Lakers immediately brought it in. Austin Reeves hit a layup with about 3 seconds to go.
So. Yeah.
No timeouts. Inbounds comes in. They hit Giddey about at the top of the key from the opposite of the basket. He gets to half court, lets one go, and it is nothing but
over
net.
LeBron.
Oh yeah. Nothing but net. I haven't heard Stacey King go that bananas over a Bulls game in a long time. Stacey King, for those of you who don't know, he does the color commentary for Bulls broadcasts.
Yeah, you got to give him hot sauce.
Yes, it was hot sauce. It was G'day, mate. He made a reference to Paul Hogan from Crocodile Dundee. He was just going nuts over this guy. Josh Giddey was traded for in the Alex Caruso deal. And for the longest time, the Bulls were, people were like, He's kind of good. I know he's young. I think he's 22, 23 years old. He's from Australia. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. And that's the sideline reaction of him hitting it. It's like craziness. I'm trying to find I don't want to get a copyright strike or whatever it is.
Yeah. But
for Stacey King, but
absolutely nuts. But anyway, so Giddy, it seems like ever since the Bulls traded Zach LaVine, Giddy has been ascending to being a much better player. I think he now has a role on this team that he understands, that everybody else understands. Probably about a week before this, maybe a little further, he almost became the fifth guy in NBA history to have a quadruple double. He was 2 steals shy, which is incredible if you think about it. And this guy, for a while, I think he had a rough game. I think it was yesterday against the Mavericks, but for a while, has been averaging almost a triple double every game.
Yeah, I think the last 6 games he was like 1 rebound or 1 assist shy of a triple double average.
The whole idea for the Bulls this year was pretty much to tank, right? Because they have their pick, and I guess there's a protected pick from, I think, San Antonio that says if it's a top 10 pick if the Bulls finish with a certain amount of losses or finish out of the playoffs or whatever. They're not finishing out of the playoffs, man. The Bulls themselves have kind of said, screw that. They'll probably be in the play-in, but the way they're playing now, they're going to give a team in the play-in fits. And if they get into a 7-game series with some of these teams in the East, I'm not saying they're going to win, but they're not going to be an easy out at all, in my opinion.
Well, this is good. So, I mean, go Bulls. I want to see them be good. Like I said, it's hard for me to watch games because I'm out of market for them. But, I think the NBA is better when the Bulls are better.
I agree.
Because they're a major market team and there's a lot of history behind that. But especially if you got young talent and stuff like this. So, like, hey, let's see the team. Let's see what we can do, guys. I mean, I know they're under 500 still. So, but at least make it entertaining. If they've got a core they can build around, if Giddy is all that, because he was a top 5 pick, wasn't he, or top 6, something like that?
He was up there. Yeah. He was up there. I think he came from Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. Another guy to watch on the Bulls is their rookie Modest Buzelis.
It's a great name.
I know. He's only 19, but he's put up a couple 30-point games as of late. They put him in the starting lineup. So some youth there. It's basically Kobe White's team. He's the leader. He's the veteran now. And, he doesn't have to play point guard, which is nice because that's what Giddy is. So Kobe White can do what he does best, which is shoot. If Patrick Williams could figure out that he needs to play worthy of his $90 million contract, they could actually be decent. But, I think Williams sucks. I can't stand that dude. I think he's, ever since he came into the league, he's like good for 9 points, 4 rebounds. That's about it. And yet the Bulls were dumb enough to pay him like $90 million over the next 5 years or something like that. But whatever.
Because it's not smart. I think you get desperate and you're like, okay, well, you got money to spend. Yeah. And it's like, all right, well, let's get somebody in here.
Well, I think that's also why they signed Zach LaVine to the max contract. It's like, well, he's our star, but Zach LaVine's never going to be a number 1 star on a championship team. He could be a 2, maybe a 3, but he cannot be. You're not going to win a title if Zach LaVine's your best player. Put it that way. So,
no, he can dunk really good.
He can. At least he used to.
Yeah, right. Not anymore. I mean, I guess probably can, but yeah, he's not the young spring step that he used to have.
No, he's got to be 8-9 years in the league by now, I would think. So, but yeah, I mean, the Bulls have been somewhat exciting to watch as of late. So,
no, go Bulls. Like I said, I like to see a competitive, Chicago Bulls team. I think it's good for the NBA and it's obviously good for the city because everybody rallies around the Bulls when they were doing well. They're
still up there in attendance. Yeah. So,
it's a great environment. It's a
good watch. Yeah, it's a great environment. They still have that shit situation with their TV deal, CHSN. that them and the White Sox and the Blackhawks are kind of locked into, and they're still haven't seemed to figure that out because they don't have a deal with Comcast on that, so you can't watch them on regular cable. They did finally put their app on Roku, but again, if you want to watch all three teams, it's $30 a month. So
that's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot
for three losers.
For three shitty teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're all young. I mean, I actually really quickly I watched the Blackhawks game today, and they have 12 guys on their team that are 23 and younger. 12. 6 number 1 draft picks, first round draft picks in the last 3 years. All 6 of them were on the ice today. Pretty cool.
That's like a kid sleepover.
Yeah. Well, how's this? So they had 2 guys play their first game today. They went to both guys went to the University of Minnesota. University of Minnesota was eliminated from the playoffs. It was either Thursday or Friday. They were in Chicago Saturday, both signed 3-year entry-level deals on Saturday, and were on the ice for the Hawks today. They practiced yesterday, played the game today.
Wow, what a turnaround. What a whirlwind.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. So
I feel like hockey and maybe NBA are the 2 sports that could probably do that.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening in the NFL. I don't see it happening in baseball, really.
No. Baseball, you rarely see anybody make a jump directly from college to the pros. They go through the minor leagues. Obviously, there is no minor leagues in the NFL, but you rarely see guys. Obviously, you finish the NFL season, and then, there's the draft, the whole pomp and circumstance of the draft, all that stuff. And then there's time to practice, all that stuff. Basketball, there's the same thing. You get the draft and all that stuff. But hockey, boom. You can be drafted. What's cool about hockey is you can be drafted while you're still playing in college. You just become that you have the team has the rights to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever you're done playing, you can then make the decision, okay, I'm done playing college. I jump to the NHL. Well, since the seasons are kind of concurrent and running at the same time, it's like, okay, college season's over. Goodbye, University of Minnesota. Hello, right. Chicago.
Hop on a plane, and next thing you know, you're wearing a professional jersey.
Pretty much.
And you're wearing the best jersey in the NHL. I mean,
oh, hell yeah.
There's no better jersey than the Blackhawks jersey.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So, yeah, pretty cool to play in front of, roughly 17,000, 18,000 at the United Center today.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Got anything else on sports or anything else, or you want to get into some music?
It's still kind of a dead time in sports for me.
Yeah,
baseball's getting rolling. I don't know. You probably don't. I don't know if you pay attention to college basketball.
I know there's a March Madness tournament, and that's
March Madness is happening. Final Four has been decided. All 4 number 1 seeds have advanced, which rarely happens. But what is it? Auburn, Florida, Duke, and
Michigan State and Alabama.
Houston.
No, that's not right.
Houston.
Yeah. Duke, Houston, Auburn, and Florida. I'm looking at the wrong. Right.
Yeah. So all those guys are the number 1s. So they'll play it out next weekend. I think the semifinals are on Saturday and the finals are Monday night next week. So supposedly cool. Duke has arguably the best player in college basketball. His name is Cooper Flagg. He comes from somewhere in Maine. And this dude actually reclassed. So he actually technically is supposed to be a senior in high school right now. But he's a freshman at Duke. So he finished high school early. Freshman at Duke. He just turned 18 in December. So started the college basketball season as a 17-year-old.
Wow.
Will probably leave Duke after 1 year and will enter the NBA as an 18-year-old.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, but I watched him yesterday. He's a pretty damn good player. Yeah. It's cool.
Anything else?
So yeah, that's it for the sports world, man. There's again not a lot going on.
So how's your music rediscovery going? Because last time we talked, you were basically hitting the reset button on your Spotify.
Yes. I've jumped up to, I believe it's right around 180 songs right now.
Okay.
So we're climbing the ladder, if you will. They're not all 80s hairband rock. They're not all 90s grunge rock. I've got some, pop stuff in there that I find catchy. Couple of old school country stuff in there.
So what did you add? What are the last 5 songs you've added or hit the hard on or whatever it is, right? That's to make it the I can't remember. I think it's hearts, right? For Spotify.
It is. Here, I'll see if I can look them up. Because you do this and you're like, okay, what did I put out there again?
Yeah.
If I call it up right now and if I hit play, Corduroy by Pearl Jam would play right now.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah. So let's see. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. Okay. All those are the recommended ones. Okay. So the last 5.
Yep.
You ready?
Yep. Hit me.
We Dem Boys by Wiz Khalifa.
Okay. I don't know that one.
That Power by will.i.am and Justin Bieber.
Don't know that one either.
A song called Music Sounds Better by Stardust. Sexy Bitch by David Guetta featuring
that
Akon.
one's a good one. Yeah.
And Old
He's trying
Town
to be
Road.
Respectful, but he doesn't know another way to say it,
That's right.
Damn, girl,
that's
you're a sexy bitch.
Exactly. See, Old Town Road by Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yep.
Yeah. And then to prove that it's not all stuff like that, I Get Around the live version by Red Hot Chili Peppers. So those are the last 6.
All right. So you're getting out there.
Yeah.
So I had a piece of advice that I forgot to mention last week, right? My advice was just like it. Just hit the like. It doesn't matter what it is. Like it. And if you're not sure, like it. Because you're going to kick yourself. You're like, oh, I really want to listen to that song. What was it? And if you didn't like it at the time, you're like, what was it? And it's gone, right? Until it comes up in the algorithm or whatever. The other one is have no fear. And what I mean by that is don't be embarrassed by the song that you're liking. It is fine to like anything.
Well, okay. I just mentioned 2 names in that list of 5 songs that in my past life, I'd have been like, oh my God, I can't admit that I like this.
Right. Exactly. And I think there's a cool factor, so-and-so band or song isn't cool. No, fuck that, man. If it's a good song and you like it, like that shit.
Right. 1 being Justin Bieber and 2 being Billy Ray Cyrus. That's not something I would have gravitated to probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. Right now, Spotify is obviously still learning that I am trying to expand the palette.
They think you're getting hacked and they're prompting you for multi-factor authentication every time. No. Where's the real Jason?
They are because, there are 6 songs listed right here that says recommended songs based on the songs of this playlist. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's recommending stuff for me. It's starting to suggest stuff that I might like. Well, of those 6 songs, they are Panama by Van Halen.
Yeah.
Walk This Way by Aerosmith.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses.
Yep, it tracks.
Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC. And Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith. Now, all 6 of those songs I do like. I'll admit You Shook Me All Night Long is probably my least favorite AC/DC song because it was played 100 million times when I was younger. But, and I will probably add the other 5 to my list. But again, it's still Spotify is getting to know me. It's we're in the early stages of our relationship, if you will.
That's good. That's cool, right? I mean, get new stuff.
Yes.
So I discovered a new band this week that I had not. I might have been aware of them in the peripheral, but never really looked at them.
Okay.
And I immediately thought, I was like, oh, I think Jay's going to like this one because this is heavy guitars, heavy metal, satanic. I mean, this is black metal.
I'm not down with satanic, but I hear you.
Yes. The band is called Ghost. Swedish.
Ghost.
A Swedish rock band. Yeah, they've been around for a while. They're not new or anything like that. But so the way I discovered this was, we were talking about, we should have a theme song or some sort of theme for the show. And so I was like, all right, well, let me hop on AI and let me figure out a bunch of stuff. And I sent you 20 different songs in a bunch of different styles, about the FOJ show and, stuff like that.
I got a story that'll come with that, but go ahead.
Okay. So as I was doing that work, right? And coming up with styles and ideas for it. The ones that I liked the best were tagged as rock opera, which
Really?
I never would have thought about as like a genre. I know it exists, but it's like, okay, I never really thought about that. And I was like, huh, interesting. Okay. And then I went onto this app. So the app that I was using is called Suno, Suno.
Okay.
And it's like a music creation app that uses AI, and it's really slick. I mean, you could type in lyrics, ideas, whatever, choose, give me an FOJ theme song in the style of Snoop Dogg, right? And it'll give you a rap that's, kind of like that, or rock or whatever it may be. And so I was experimenting with different genres and lyrics and stuff like that. And rock opera came out. I was like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty good. I kind of dig that. And then I started going down this hole of like, okay, well, what other is rock opera that I'm missing? And then somehow I stumbled on Ghost on Apple Music. I was like, okay, I got to check this out. And I have like 4 new songs that I discovered this week just from Ghost alone. I was like, okay, that's pretty bitchin'. I'm digging it.
All right.
So Ghost.
I've heard of them.
Swedish rock band.
I can't say that I could name any of their songs off the top of my head, but I will definitely check them out. If you're giving them that big of an endorsement and you're convinced that I would like them, I'm in, man.
So the ones I like are Square Hammer, Rats, Satanized, and I'm not sure why I don't see us in here, but Dance Macabre.
Rats, Satanized, Dance Macabre.
Yep. And Square Hammer.
Square Hammer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am going to sample all 4 of these when we get off the air.
So there you go.
And
that's a new one for you. I think you'll like it because I think it's a kind of style.
I will report back next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Send me a text. Just let me know.
I will.
What do you think?
I will.
Of this band. The other one that I feel like I might have mentioned this before is the Doom soundtrack by Mick Gordon.
I think you have mentioned that. But
Heavy
I'm going to write it down again.
Just metal, no lyrics, just thrashing, dude. And it's
love that.
Pretty freaking good.
I like music. I like instrumentals a lot. Stuff that has no name. Like, this may sound stupid, but we're talking music, so it's what I like. It is what it is.
Yeah.
There are certain like TV theme songs that I think are just freaking awesome.
Oh, there's plenty of good ones, man.
Yes, like way back in the day, Miami Vice.
Yeah,
one of my all-timers. 18.
Well, what was it? It was the Phil Collins song that was such a big hit off that one scene where they're driving around.
Oh, In the Air Tonight.
Yeah, In the Air. I mean, come on. Like, talk about the perfect song for the perfect shots, the cinematography, right? The wheels as they're driving around, like, iconic.
Yeah. Tubbs and Crockett in the middle of the night. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Before they go shoot up a bunch of guys.
I'm a big Phil Collins fan. Solo. I think he's got some really good stuff. Another good one from Miami Vice is Smuggler's Blues by Glenn Frey. Glenn Frey from the Eagles. Really good. But yeah, I mean, there's just some really good, solid music theme songs and like stuff from movies. Like I hit the Star Wars soundtracks, really good.
I mean, come on, man. Anytime you hear any of the Star Wars like main themes, it's awesome. It's like, all right, that's pretty bitchin'.
Stuff from Rocky, the Karate Kid soundtracks got some good stuff on it, but I stumbled across Knight Rider. That's one of my favorites. I love Knight Rider.
That's a good one.
But one
I liked Airwolf. Remember Airwolf?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Blue Thunder.
Jan Michael Vincent. Yes.
Yep.
But one of my all-time favorites is from the 70s. And I don't know. I know we're not that much different in age, but did you ever watch Chips?
Oh yeah. California Highway Patrol, baby.
With Baker and Poncherello.
Yeah.
Yeah. That theme song, for whatever reason, just freaking hits me. Because it was like at the height of disco. But it's disco with a rock beat to it. And it's just, and they're driving down the highway. And it's just freaking cool. I was like, man, when that theme song gets going, it's pretty awesome.
I mean, they used to put a lot of effort into those theme songs. Like,
yes.
Robin Thicke did what was the one he was in? Growing Pains? Is that what it was?
That was his dad, Alan.
Or Alan Thicke. Yeah. So they would actually.
That's another great theme song. Actually, that's another good one.
Cheers.
But Cheers is good.
I think Friends had a really popular one. Obviously, it was the Rembrandts, but it wasn't. As a band. But then you started to see more commercial bands lending themselves to coming up with themes or licensing music and stuff like that.
Well, I remember the Cosby Show. They had their own thing, and then they hired Bobby McFerrin, who was huge back then. Did their theme song later, which I thought was interesting. Oh man, Night Court had a good one. Family Ties had a good one. There's a ton of good.
Yeah, because they were all meant to be like sing-along, singable.
Yeah.
60 seconds of singable lyrics and just get you ready for the show. House, the opening for House is a Massive Attack song.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Now all you really hear is the dun 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 dun, but it's actually a great album.
Yes,
it's one of the classics if you're into like electronic music.
Yeah. Well, what is it? Family Ties. I think the guy in that song is one half of the Righteous Brothers.
Really?
If you know who the Righteous Brothers are, which I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I got
Bill
some
Medley?
Righteous Brothers in my mix here.
Yeah, Righteous Brothers were good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a lot of good stuff. But, just trying to get outside the box and stay outside the box a little bit, but still stay within the box as well. Like for instance, I'm driving home from baseball practice today, and now lately I got my playlist going to make sure that I'm good with it. And I don't want to hit next. Mm-hmm. So I listened to Weed and Boys by Wiz Khalifa. I'm like, yeah, this is a jam. And it followed up by Wake Up Dead by Megadeth. And man, that is an ass kicker. Yep. Oh man, I love that song.
I love anything Dave Mustaine does. I just think he's such a talented guitarist, and the play, but also the creativity and just the consistency of him putting out so many classic riffs. And it's just, I love Dave Mustaine.
Are you a fan of Hangar 18?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen the YouTube of the show they played? I think it's in New York City somewhere, but it was like a private, intimate show, and they labeled themselves as Vic and the Rattleheads.
No,
but it was really Megadeth. It's on YouTube. I'm
going to have to add this.
The sound quality of Hangar 18 at that show is unbelievable.
Okay.
I mean, the bass, the drums, the crowd, all of it is just like, whoa. It like knocks you over. It's that good. At least I think it is. Okay.
I'm going to look for it. Vic and the Rattleheads. All right.
Yeah, it might be still under Megadeth, but he actually says it's not Megadeth, it's Vic and the Rattleheads.
So I have it here pulled up. I obviously won't play it because we'll get in trouble if we play it, but I will add it in a window here that I'll look at after we're done.
Yeah, fire that up, and that's one you'll want to turn the volume up on. It's pretty damn good.
I'm a big fan of Megadeth. They have so many good stuff.
Underrated, I think.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of songs that are just for whatever reason never made the hits charts or radio or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Wake Up Dead, I'm a huge fan of. I'm trying to think. Like I have so many different songs.
Oh,
that I like from them.
Peace Cells.
Yeah.
What is it? Symphony of Destruction. That whole album is pretty awesome.
Sweating Bullets. Bullets. Almost Honest.
Yes.
Insomnia.
I think Train of Consequences is
that's a great song.
Yeah.
I love the song. So when I die, I want a Tu Le Monde played.
Yes.
as part of my funeral.
Yes. A lot of good songs from them.
Yeah.
They do a great version of Paranoid.
Yes, they do. And 99 Ways to Die.
Yes, from
also really good.
The Beavis and Butthead soundtrack.
Yep. Yeah. It's I'm a fan of it. What could I say?
Yes. Oh yeah. Hey, we're not ready to see you yet. Good stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby. I mean, it's also none of the guitars, but that rock voice that he's got where he can.
He has a very unique voice.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's gotten a little rougher as he's gotten older, which is understandable. But classic Megadeth Dave Mustaine voice is pretty good.
Well, what's funny is he could never sing the chorus the same way twice.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call him a trained vocalist.
No, not at all, not at all.
Right.
But that's part of the mystique of him. You know, it's like you never know what you're gonna get, but you know the music itself is gonna sound awesome.
Yeah, you know there's gonna be even if the song is just kind of okay, you know there's gonna be some guitarists in there. It was like, oh yeah, like I like this part, you know.
And if you think about it, they have the cheesiest band name ever. Hey, let's call our band Megadeth.
Yeah. Now, can you imagine if he had stayed in Metallica? If they hadn't kicked him out for being the party guy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably best for both of them because I can't imagine him coexisting with Kirk or not with Kirk, with Lars and James because they exerted so much control over the band.
Yeah. Wow. That'd be interesting. But I think it's incredible to think that they kicked him out of the band for being the party guy and the drinker and all that. And yet he's had a career that has been just as long as Metallica's has.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I guess you could argue not as probably commercially successful, but from a quality perspective, I think they're right there.
Oh, definitely. And I don't think Dave Mustaine would probably want it to be as commercially successful. He doesn't seem like.
I think he has that more of that purist mentality, right? He's like,
I'm in it for the music.
Yep.
You know. Whereas, those other guys, I mean, they'll save it they're in it for the music, but they made a couple dollars along the way as well.
Did you know that Dave Mustaine has a black belt in Taekwondo?
I did know that.
Mm-hmm. So not only will he kick your ass on the guitar, he'll kick your ass in real life too.
I believe he is also a cancer survivor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that, and he had like a really bad wrist injury. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to play anymore, and I guess he's recovered from that, thankfully. But
and I know
he's had some things happen.
Yeah, he's had some stuff happen, but I know at one point, I think his daughter is a pretty talented musician or singer, or something like that. So there's, and I know there's members of Metallica whose kids are pretty into music as well. Like I think one of James's kids is a drummer. I know Rob's son is a pretty decent bassist. And maybe one of Lars's kids does something as well. But and then I remember in an interview with Kirk Hammett, and they were asking him, "Hey, do your kids play music?" He's like, "Yeah, my one plays the cello and my other one plays the violin or something like that." I'm like, "Oh my god, dude."
Hey, music's music, I guess.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just,
you could be the next Timmy Trumpet, taking the trumpet and then putting it to EDM and then, make a big career out of that too. So there's always a way. Or what's the violinist, Lindsey Sterling, right? Where she's more like a dance type person, right?
Yes.
So yeah, you know what? It is time for the cello to make an appearance in something more than just classical or maybe like jazz.
Yeah. Well, what's the next rock guy going to play bass on a stand-up bass as opposed to a bass guitar?
I have a feeling One Republic had a cello on one of their songs and one of their things. I have to ask Zach about that.
I know Foo Fighters. I don't know if it's on the album. I think it is on the song "The Pretender." There's a cello on it because I remember the video for Foo Fighters, "The Pretender" at Wembley Stadium. There's a young lady up on stage playing the cello. Don't know her name. She's pretty hot, though. I will tell you that.
Okay.
So there.
That little tidbit. Thank you for that.
So there's that.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I'm excited about your musical journey. I'll continue to throw stuff at your ways. So we have a couple. Let's see. We've been going for like an hour 15 already. And I know we did a Would You Rather last time.
I have one for you that we kind of talked about it, and you said it was a pretty easy one for you, but I'm really interested to hear why. So my Would You Rather for you is, would you rather give up now, and this is forever, you could have one or the other. Would you rather give up television / movies or music?
So basically video content.
Yeah. Video versus audio.
And for me, I feel like this is an easy one. It's audio. I would keep audio. I would get rid of TV.
I find that to be interesting. So tell me why.
So, one, I listen to much more audio than I do video. Just I don't have live TV. I have all the services, and sure, I watch plenty of that stuff as well. But music is a constant for me. So I'm constantly listening to something. It is extremely versatile because you can listen to music in the car, on a flight. It's easy to download. It's easy to have a wide mix of it. It also includes podcasts if you're into that sort of thing as well. So,
which if you're listening to the show, you should be. But anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's the only way you can listen to the show is by listening to it.
To some, it could be their only connection to the outside world. But anyway,
yeah, exactly. So, for me, it is hands down an easy answer. Final answer is I am keeping the audio, and the video can, take a long walk off a short pier.
That is interesting. So when did you give up live TV?
I haven't had it for years, with the exception of the NFL season. So I only subscribe to
Sunday Ticket,
NFL Sunday Ticket, and you can only get it through really YouTube TV. And so I do that, and we start it in August when the season starts, and then this year it just happened to be that the subscription ran out the day after the Super Bowl. So it was like perfect timing.
Wow.
And so, we don't carry live TV unless, and really it's only for the NFL. That's it.
Now, was there something specific that prompted that, or you just decided, hey, this is as the world kind of switched gears towards streaming and took kind of cable out of the equation? Did you just decide, I don't really need it?
A little bit of everything. The other thing too is more for my own sanity and mental health. Because if I have TV, I probably have CNN or some other news channel playing all day. And I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand.
I purposely don't. And that's pretty much it. But I just wasn't using it. Really, the only thing I would watch on live TV was Saturday Night Live, and I would watch it the day after without commercials. And so it's like, all right, well, like I said, other than, live football games, I don't really have a need for it. There's too many other things to watch on other channels, or there's other ways to get it. I can't remember the last time I had like appointment TV, right? Sit down and watch this thing other than Game of Thrones. That's the last time that my wife and I had a point, like every Sunday night, sit down and watch Game of Thrones when it came out because we were so into it. But that's the last time I've had any show where we actually would watch something live.
Game of Thrones is probably the next series my wife and I
forget about that. You have not seen Game of Thrones?
No.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I know you've said it. Jeremy, my son, just started watching it a couple weeks ago. He's into it. And
see, it's tough right now because you're so far past.
I know
like when it, and I don't know what spoilers
I don't know anything. There is not one thing I know about the show. I know what's her name, Amelia Clark. I know she's like the main character or the main girl character. I know that what is it? That Jason Momoa is in it. Those are the only two things I know about that show. That's it.
Okay. All right. So you need to watch Game of Thrones.
Okay. I will.
I think it's one of the best shows ever on TV. Now, I want you to watch it all, and I don't want you to listen to any criticism for anything.
Okay. No, I won't.
Just watch it, and then I want to discuss it with you.
Okay.
Because there's also a whole book thing around this. Now, I didn't read the books or anything like that. I only know the show, and I have seen, was it House of the Dragon, which is the spinoff that came after that, which I also liked.
Now, I'm going to tell you.
Yes.
Because Game of Thrones had how many seasons?
8 or 9 or 10 or something like that. Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay. So, and I don't know how many episodes there are per season.
I want to say there's like 8 to 10 per season.
Okay, so you're talking roughly, 70 shows, maybe? 60, 70?
Yes, there are 8 seasons. And anywhere between 6 and 10 episodes per season.
Okay, so it's going to take me a while.
Yes, it will. There's a lot, and each episode is about an hour. So
sure.
And I don't think there are any easy. You have to be watching the show.
Yeah, right.
Like you can't multitask,
you need to be an active watcher. I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to commit to getting through the show, watching it, and then
let me know when you start, because I might just sit back and watch it again at the same time.
Okay. All right.
And then we can talk about it. But
yeah, because Michelle and I just finished Yellowstone last week, so we're trying to decide, okay, what's next? We probably need to. That's something that we, something we can do together. And her work schedule is sometimes a little bit whacked, but it's not terrible. So I think this is something we could probably get done at some point.
Okay. So yeah, there's 73 episodes across 8 seasons.
Cool. I think Jeremy is in season 3 or 4 right now. So.
Okay, so he's into it.
Yeah,
like there's definitely stuff that's happened.
Yeah, I mean he's a college kid that outside of studying in baseball doesn't have a whole lot to do. So he does watch a lot of stuff. So
you don't know anything about Game of Thrones, right?
No.
What do you think the show is about? Like just based on what you know and understand and have heard. Like what is the show?
To me, it seems like it combines Dungeons and Dragons with a soap opera.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah,
that's the impression that I get.
Okay,
I'm sure there's an actual plot. I'm sure there's an actual, hero and villain and all that stuff, and blah blah blah. So I am anxious to watch it, but that is my assumption.
Okay, that's good. That's a good assumption. I think it's interesting when I talk with people who haven't seen shows like this. Like Walking Dead is another one where it's like, what do you think Walking Dead is about? Have you ever seen Walking Dead?
I never have. I've never watched an episode of Walking Dead.
I stopped watching after the others. So if anybody's listening and they know the Walking Dead, when the others came into it, I was like, this is kind of going off. And after what's his name, Rick, was off the show as well. But I think Negan is one of the best characters ever portrayed on TV. See,
the idea of just, I'm sure it's way beyond this, but the idea of watching a bunch of zombies doesn't appeal to me at all.
And I can see that, and I understand that, and that's fine. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you to counter that.
Okay.
The show isn't about zombies.
Okay.
Zombies are just the backdrop, the setting.
Okay.
The show is about what happens to humanity after society breaks down.
Okay. All right. Well,
the zombies are just there to help kind of move the plot along and give it some sort of, sense of what the heck is going on. Why did society fail?
Okay.
But the show is not about zombies.
Okay.
So if you go into the mindset of like, oh, okay, if you're expecting like zombie magic all like every episode,
there are 3 shows out there that from the past that I'm told I need to watch that I've never seen an episode of. 1 is Game of Thrones, 2 is Walking Dead, and 3 is Breaking Bad.
Oh, dude, Breaking Bad is so good.
I know, and I'm sure. Good. What is it? Better Call Saul? Is that
that's really good too? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure I need to watch those at some point as well. Now Michelle has watched Breaking Bad.
Okay.
She got.
I can't get Barb into Breaking Bad. Like she just never gets past season 1. But
okay,
if you stick with it, and season 1 was a bit of a slog, but if you stick with it, my gosh, man, it's definitely one of the top.
Yeah, she was hooked.
TV series of all time.
She was hooked. I decided if I was ever going to watch it, I would need to watch it from the beginning. And she was too far into it when I realized that she was watching it. So I'm like, you know what? I will have to catch this on my own at some other time. So I will do that. But okay, Game of Thrones, it will be first up, and I will get into that and report back.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I think you brought Breaking Bad to mind. I think it is the only TV series that has like nothing but positive reviews for every single episode. Ever.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 or 7 series, whatever it is.
I've heard it's phenomenal. I've never talked to anybody who has ever said I hate that show.
It's so good, and there's some amazing characters, and Bryan Cranston is just phenomenal in it. But yeah, it's good.
Got it. All right. So you said you had a couple other would you rathers, or 2 others.
Well, the other. So I'm going with music. What are you going with? What's your answer?
See, that's a tough one for me.
Yeah, man.
because
you hit me with it. Now I turn it around. I turn it around on you. I hit you with it.
That is really hard because I am a music guy. I love music. But I'm also a visual guy. I like to watch. Now, granted, I don't have any, like you, I don't have appointment television, but unlike you, live sports, I that's something I have to have.
Yeah. Now,
so that
could you listen?
Could I listen? Could I? Yes. Could I? Yes. And have many times. Like if I'm in the car, I'll throw the game on or whatever. But I do enjoy watching. Oh man. But because because I could listen, I would probably go. Yeah, but here's the thing. You could pull up about any music on YouTube and watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gotta give me a fine answer. That's the way this game works. Is you have to have an answer.
I will side with you.
You want to keep audio and ditch video.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're in good company. We can live in the theater of the mind.
It'd be tough, but I that's what I would choose.
Well, that's the whole point of the game, right? Is
right.
An impossible choice, a Sophie's choice, whatever you want to call it.
That's right.
Well, I got another one for you this week.
Okay.
And this one's going to be ridiculous. So I will say, please don't cancel Jim or don't cancel Jason or myself or whoever, for this question. But
that's fair.
How many sixth graders do you think you could take on at once in a fight?
Oh.
And sixth graders, I'm assuming, are somewhere between 11 and 12 years old, maybe 13 if they're been held back.
Let's see. So the kids that I coach right now are in 7th grade. They're 13. So 6th graders, 12.
About 12. Okay.
Yeah.
How many? And let's just say you're dropped into a UFC cage match.
At one time.
Yep. How many do you think you could take on at once?
Boy. And
they don't have any special skills, no weapons.
Right.
It's just average. Think of an average 12-year-old. Boys and girls. Just how many do you think you could take on?
You know what? I think I could confidently take on and hold my own against 3.
3?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
I think you could do more than that.
I don't know, man.
And it's been a while since I've interacted with anybody at that age level. I don't have kids and I don't have any kid activities, but 3?
Yeah. The reason being is if they're coming at you from all different angles, I mean, you got to protect your face. You got to protect between the legs, all that stuff. I think 3 of them coming at you at once, it would be hard to be on offense, if you will.
Yeah, but they don't. What are they going to do? They don't have weapons.
They don't. I know.
Are they going to kick and punch and?
I know. Look, you're also talking to somebody who isn't in the best of shape.
That's fair.
See, I'm looking at
that's fine.
I'm looking at it from my own perspective, right? Body's starting to break down a little bit. Not as athletic as I like to think I am. So yeah, I think 3 is probably a good number.
That surprises me.
Being realistic. I'm just being realistic.
Yeah.
Now, okay, you said boys, girls,
just a mix. Yeah.
Okay, so if it's a mix, and it's funny because sometimes you go down the rabbit hole online of watching videos and stuff like that. I've seen kids fight. Some of these kids are freaking ruthless, man.
Yeah.
They're tough. They are tough.
I'm not now for people listening. I'm not saying go out and start a fight with 6th graders to prove your mettle. Please don't do that.
Theory.
This is just an exercise of the mind.
I have not thrown a punch in a long time. So I don't know. Luckily, I haven't had to. So I don't know what throwing a punch would look like these days. Trying to kick somebody with any authority, I'd probably pull something, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think 3 is the number.
Okay.
What about you?
I mean, you've got me thinking a little bit, but I was thinking like between 6 and 10.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like I think I would get tired or have a heart attack before any of those little monsters would get to me. Like I feel like I could take on 6 to 10, no problem.
Well, define get to you. What does that look like? You mean like you would say uncle? You would say
yeah.
I'm done?
No, yeah. I mean, I don't think they would be able to do enough damage unless there's like just a crazy lucky shot, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
But even surrounded, I feel like I have more experience. I actually have some martial arts background. Not that any good that it would do for me right now at my age. But I feel like I would be somewhat technical in my approach.
Okay.
And we would be in the find out phase of fuck around and find out if I got dropped into this situation. So I feel like the thing that would slow me down would be, cardiovascular health. Let's just put it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can throw a punch or a kick strong enough to take out a person of that size and that age.
Okay.
Where they're no longer interested in being part of the equation.
Okay.
So I feel like I could do somewhere between 6 and 10.
Okay, you're a lot more confident than I am.
I am, and which now makes me think, am I overconfident? And that's the downfall, right? Is you get that overconfident, and then, like you said, say, oh shit, I overestimated this, and now I'm in for a pummeling.
Now you have to understand,
now you're closer to this age because you're coaching roughly.
I am.
This age.
That's what.
So you're much more aware of what they're capable of. Whereas,
yes,
I have no point of reference. I can't remember the last time I talked to anybody who was under the age of 21.
Now you're also talking about a guy who used to play sports and all that stuff. Now I do anything athletic and my body hurts.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be sore afterwards. Yeah, but I don't. I feel like my knowledge of striking has not left. Now, can I execute it? That's a different story.
Right.
But I feel like my experience of a Taekwondo background would come in handy there.
Oh, I'm sure it would. Because I'm sure some of that never leaves you.
Yeah.
The idea.
I'll just rely on the 6 basics for anybody who's listening and knows Taekwondo. It'll be the 6 basics, probably mostly 1 through 4.
Yeah.
With an occasional 5 or 6 if they're coming from the side.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched enough martial arts because my 3 boys all went through it and are black belts and all that stuff, which has helped them. I will tell you this. I would recommend to any parent, put your kid in martial arts when they're young.
100%. I did it in high school, and my God, I was never in that shape, as good of a shape, and just the confidence it instills and the discipline that you learn as well as part of that. Actually, my friend Andre, he and I took it together.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, it was fun. It was good times. And my brother Charles was there as well. So
yeah, all 3 of my kids went through it, and it was the best decision we ever made for them. And like you said, not just the physical part of it, but the mental, the confidence, the structure, all that stuff. I could not have asked for a better experience, and we're actually still in touch with their teacher today. So
yeah, I don't know if so shout out to Master Kid if he's still around. And the where do we actually, he had a studio, but we also went to the Y, which is where he had Y classes, and at some point I ended up helping him teach some of those classes as well. At the Y for the youngsters.
We went to Super Kicks Kung Fu Academy, which was in the strip mall, not 5 minutes from here. And Sifujiya was just absolutely amazing. And I will forever credit her with the athletic prowess and athletic success that my kids have had, and beyond all that. But I mean, God, Justin and Jeremy went to fight competitively for a couple of years. Justin won a national title.
Nice.
I think he was 7, but I mean, he beat some kid from Texas and beat another kid from Indiana up in Wisconsin. So, pretty cool. Jeremy finished right up there as well. So, the greatest thing we ever did for the boys was martial arts, and it got them started, and everything kind of grew from there. So,
yeah, definitely. I would recommend it as well.
Hell yeah.
But I think I could take 6 to 10 still. And
right.
Yeah, I feel like I said, it would take one strike per child.
Okay.
to take them out of the fight.
Hey,
maybe
strike
2,
first,
depending on if I get a direct hit or not.
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
It's right. If I'm dropped in the cage and 6 to 10 angry 6th graders want a piece of me, sorry, man. It's
right out of the original Cobra Kai handbook, right there.
That's right. I'm going to sweep the leg, sweep the face.
Love it.
You name it. But yeah, I think it could take 6 to 10. Now, I could be horribly mistaken, but
well, hopefully you'll never have to test this theory, because if you do, that means you're being mugged. So
by a bunch of 6th graders on a school trip to somewhere
in Asheville, North Carolina. Most likely.
Yeah.
Or I forget, you're a world traveler, so in your case
anywhere.
it could be anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I got Milwaukee, Chicago, and New York City all coming up here.
That's right.
And then Berlin and Amsterdam, a month after that. So who knows? Man. I'm going worldwide.
Worldwide, Jeff.
Yep.
And in that case, not everybody can be a friend of Jeff.
No, that's true. But I'd prefer friends. You learn how to fight so you don't have to.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
All right, let's see. Hour 35, 36 minutes. I think that's a pretty good run for us.
Yeah, for coming into the room with nothing, pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, I had some stuff. I said I want to ask you about the Yankee bats, and the Getty thing was kind of cool. And yeah, the music journey I'm always up for. So I'm always interested to hear like what you picked up this week and kind of follow along. And then if you start watching Game of Thrones,
then we got a whole new thing to talk about.
There will be a lot to talk about.
So I've got 2 things that I now need to keep track of. So I do have a little bit of homework, and I have not lost out on the Apple Vision Pro. I know that's on my to-do list.
Oh, dude,
I will get that at some point. I promise.
It's so cool.
I did have a story to share real quick. So when you sent me those theme songs, remember I
I forgot to ask about that. Yeah.
I came back at you at number 15. And ironically, when you sent me those 20, number 15 was the only one that showed up with a logo on it. Everything else was just
I realized I forgot I sent you the video version of it.
Yes, that was fine.
Yeah.
Because I went to that one first. And so when you sent those to me, I was in a coworker's car. We were out searching for new business. And he is a listener of the show. So he was familiar.
Well, shout out to him.
Yes, shout out to Kevin in my district at Cisco, because he is a weekly listener.
Let's go ahead and make Kevin the FOJ listener of the week.
Hey, there we go. Way to go, Kevo. You're my guy. So I shared these with him. We were listening to him in his car, and we bumped him up through the speakers, all that stuff. Ironically, number 15 was both of our favorites.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So should I play it? Because I can pull it up here. It's about 2 minutes. I don't know if we'll get in trouble, because I don't know how that's going to work, but I can't imagine that there's any sort of it's just AI did this.
You know what, Jeff? Sometimes in life you ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, you know what?
For permission.
If I'm going to get in trouble, send those 6th graders after me, and then we'll deal with it at that point.
We'll test this theory. So fire it up. Let's go.
Okay, let's do this. So the title of it is The Jeff and Jay Odyssey. And let me know if you can hear this. Just give me a thumbs up if you can.
Jeff lights and fire, sparks light the air. Jay brings thunder, hearts shake without care. Friends of Jeff, the legends unfold. 2 voices rising fierce, bold. Friends of Jeff, the anthem roars. Jeff and Jay, they crash through doors. Stories flying, laughter breaks.
So I'm trying to think about, I think I sent you what I thought. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm trying to, it gave me a Nickelback vibe for me.
Oh, I thought, yeah, it was definitely sounded like Nickelback. I could see that now. There were a lot of different styles that I sent you.
Yes.
And we could easily spend 2 hours going over the 20 songs.
For sure.
But, I'm not going to claim that I am original or created these things other than just really good AI prompt engineering. And again, the app, Suno, Suno, it's free for a certain amount of like tokens. And it's like you get a certain amount of tokens per month or whatever. But I mean, super impressive if you think about that. Like that was 100% AI. Not a single thing in that was done by human other than I'll have to look it up, but like, create a song like this.
Yeah. No, I was totally impressed. Obviously technology, it just keeps moving forward and, between AI and ChatGPT and all that stuff. I mean, it's really changing everything. I know my kids use ChatGPT for school, probably a hell of a lot more than they should, but it is what it is. It's available to them. And, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's indifferent, it's here to stay. That's for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, learn how to use it. It's here. It's too late to put the genie back in the bottle, but
yeah, for sure.
This was tagged as epic rock opera, dramatic opera rock. As what AI kind of put together as I went down the rabbit hole of like, oh, well, what about this? What about that? And started to come up with a whole bunch of different, genres and things like that. I have like funk and, rhythmic, tribal, aggressive rock, hair metal, which is where I started. Cause like, all right, well, if it's Jay and I, hair metal probably makes the most sense. But, then I got into like disco and dance and dark electronic and just, I went kind of nuts with it for a while.
There were a lot of good ones. I will tell you that. There were very few where I nexted pretty much right away. So pretty solid.
Yeah, not bad. So I think the work continues to try to figure out if we ever put any theming or branding on this other than just hitting record and just talking. But it's fun to experiment with.
Oh, for sure. It actually, that song kind of made it sound like two superheroes.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the lyrics are nuts. Jeff strides in, fire sparks light the air. Jay brings thunder hearts, shake without care. Friends of Jeff, the legends unfold. Two voices rising fierce, bold. I mean, come on, man. Like, how metal is that,
Yeah, I feel like we're like Batman and Robin with the blam and Kazam and all that stuff.
Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe I'll do like a cartoon.
Yeah, cartoonish superhero type stuff. So
I still have some credits left over. So
yeah,
no, flip over in a day here.
Me and my guy Kevin had a good laugh over that. It was good.
Okay,
it was good. A lot of fun.
Glad to be entertaining. So
always
it brings up an interesting part. Is at some point AI is going to start creating music, and you're going to start listening to AI music. And I don't know how I feel about that because obviously there's a creative aspect of it, but it's also be interesting because imagine being able to dial in a playlist, a song to your specific mood, your specific tastes. And it's just, it's totally 100% created every time. It's different.
Maybe that's our in to the music industry. Maybe we could
just start making songs and just put it
on YouTube. We could pioneer a movement and people would never know who created it.
There's got to be like watermarks and stuff like that, probably hidden signals within the track itself to track all this stuff. But I'm looking on here. There's a playlist called 80s Classic Rock.
There you go.
And there's 19 songs in this playlist that have different things. Let me play a quick clip of it. So here's the first song. I haven't heard this before, so I have no idea what I'm about to get into, but this is called Into the Sky.
Okay.
Let's see if I can hit play. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't want to play, but okay, maybe not a good example.
Well, maybe that's something we can work on for...
Yeah. For whatever reason, it just doesn't want to play. That might be some of the DRM and stuff like that coming out.
That could be.
But I think it's interesting. Like I said, AI is here. Learn it. Learn how to use it, and you're going to be way ahead of everyone else.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Well,
all right. I think we're probably good.
Yeah, we've set a new record, hour 45, our longest episode ever.
Yeah. It was a good one. Always good.
Yeah. All right, my man. I will talk with you next week.
All right. We'll
actually, no, next week I'll be hitting Chicago. I think we're going to try and do something live while I'm there.
Is that next week or in 2 weeks?
Oh, wait. You know what? It is 2 weeks. Yeah.
Let's see. Next week, I might have to go Monday only because I think my cousin from California, who I have not seen in roughly 15 years, will be in town.
Well, have them on the show. We can do that.
So I will ask her.
Yeah, no, what's it? I'll be in town. We'll do something on the 15th. So that's in a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
We'll celebrate tax day by doing a live show. How about that?
I got my taxes done this weekend, so I'm officially done.
I have not finished mine yet. I always do mine myself. I did my boys' taxes weeks ago and just haven't gotten around to mine. So that is on my list.
I have no interest in that, so more power to you. But that is not for me.
Yep. Nope. Been doing it for years. So
okay.
All good.
All right, my man. I will.
All right, man.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later.